So we appreciate each and every one of you that are doing that. On our time. So again, we want to appreciate each and every one of you who does that. Well, lots of stuff going on in the world of sports. This weekend we just culminated the end of the NBA draft. And for those people who are located in Atlanta, kind of sad as I would say a hometown hero is going to be leaving Atlanta. That's right. If you have not heard, John Collins is gone. Well, he's not gone yet. You can't do anything officially until July the 6th. But John Collins has been traded or will be traded to the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz trading back to Atlanta Rudy Gay, a veteran of some, I guess he's been 20 years in at this point, and a second-round pick. So primarily, this is what they call, Lady E, and for those of you who are listening, this is what they call a salary dump and an attempt for the Hawks to get under the salary cap, which they now have the largest trade credit in NBA history. They now have $25 million available to spend on free agents and the like. So look forward for Atlanta to make some additional moves as they now have rebooted this team. They've gotten rid of the core players that just a few years ago took them to the Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA. It's amazing. It was just, this just happened literally in the 21-22 season. Now here we are heading into the 23-24 season next year. Everybody gone off of that core, except for Trae Young. Now Trae Young is still around, and because of course the Hawks drafted him number 3 overall. And regardless, lady, of what some people say about Trae Young, about he's a ball hog, or he doesn't really produce. The realities are with Trae Young is that he has been an outstanding performer, 2-time All-Star in his 5 years here, and certainly 2 years ago, one of the great playoff performance runs in NBA history, including dropping 48 against the 76ers. So Trae's not going anywhere. They're going to try to build this team around him, but he's now only by himself as part of the big three. They used to have him, they had Collins, and they had Kevin Huerter. Huerter now going off to Sacramento, which I think, of all the moves the Hawks have made recently, that's going to be the one that haunts them the most, is that move of trading Huerter to Sacramento, because basically they really have left a void, which they're going to try to fill now in their recent draft, of a guy who's at least a 6'5" or more swingman, and a guy who can bring them some three-point shooting off the edge. So it's going to be interesting to see, what the Hawks do going forward as they try to get back to the, NBA playoffs. Lady, what do you have going on the weekend? We're going to take a little shift away. I want to give people, because again, this is a weekend update. We're here for 15 minutes. What do you have going on outside in the world, either with yourself or with WIGO?
Oh, well, I was telling someone earlier that we celebrated my sister's 60th birthday this past weekend, which is why I wasn't on the air last weekend.
What?
Oh, my gosh. It was a party thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
I keep reminding myself I'm not 25 years old anymore, but
real?
however, I partied like I was. So, hey, it was good stuff. Also, if you want to, you can tune in tomorrow for the show called The History, the Song, the Artist. That's my show that I air every Sunday at 5 p.m., where I'm telling the life story of the legendary First Lady of Hip Hop, Miss Faith Evans, and I'll be featuring a gentleman that I did not know had passed in 2021. He was instrumental in the success of Bad Boy Entertainment. His name is the late, great Chucky Thompson. He was a producer for Bad Boy Records. So I'll definitely be featuring him tomorrow. 5 p.m., The History, the Song, the Artist.
Okay, well, got some good stuff going on. I mean, that sounds exciting. Like I said again, there's people are doing all kinds of things in the way of celebration. So we're excited to be celebrating along with them. We're excited, like I said, for all those of you who have joined us here on this broadcast as we kind of update you on the weekend sports. Now, the other thing that's going on here, if you're from Atlanta, how about them Braves? Braves are, rolling. They are rolling. Last night hung up, I believe, 16 runs on the Miami Marlins, who ironically are in second place. And the Braves are trying to run away with this thing. I mean, they're trying to get to the point where look here, y'all, by the All-Star break, we've got this thing locked up. But yeah, the Braves definitely are must-see TV right now. They're rolling. I told people early on, the lineup they have here right now, 1 through 9, is just killer. And you got to give a big shout out to the manager of the Braves, Brian Snitker, because Snit has really found a way to galvanize this team and to be able to take and push all the right buttons. I mean, it's amazing. No matter what kind of injuries this team has, no matter what they have to go through, it just seems like that Brian Snitker consistently finds a way to make this team just I mean, I am shocked at just how, like I said again, they have problems with pitching, they have problems with injuries, they get guys traded away. You remember they had that team that went to the World Series a couple of years ago. Several key players off that team were traded away, but it does not seem to matter. The Braves rolling, 54 up, 27 down. They are already closing in on a 60 wins halfway through the season. And I got to tell you, I mean, they are on pace at this point to put up a 108 win season, which is incredible.
Yes, it is. Hey, we can use another ring. I'll take it.
Hey, listen, I think we all would take it. We'd love to see, championship quality play here. Like I said, Braves find themselves all alone in the NL East. Marlins in second place, but like I said, Braves really dropping the hammer. Marlins now find themselves 7 games behind the Braves going into the All-Star break. And what the Braves are starting to do is, the big key is that they are starting to play much better at home. What the Braves were doing early on, which kept this kind of a race early on, was that they were barely over 500 at home. And, Truist Park, for those people listening from around the world and other places, Truist Park is really one of the best stadium setups. And when I say setups, the whole area around the stadium has a, work, live, and play area where they have condominiums that overlook the ballpark, similar to what you saw in Toronto, but they have a whole plethora. The word for the day is plethora. They have a whole plethora of shops and stores and eateries. They even have a Roxy Theater there. So it is an outstanding place to play. And they allow people to come in. They have an area just outside the ballpark with a grassy knoll where you literally can bring your kids. And obviously you can't watch the game per se, but they have a giant jumbotron there where you can set up and eat at lower pricing and have the whole ambiance of the game itself. And so the Braves just weren't taking advantage of that in the early part of the season. But now the Braves have surged and have been red hot at home. I think they've won 9 of the last 10 at home. Now the record at home is a sizzling 28-15. And on the road, they're just as good, 26-12 on the road, one of the best records in the major leagues. Like I said, the Braves have won 9 of their last 10 games, and this team is just incredible. Meanwhile, their arch rivals, the New York Metropolitans, a.k.a. the New York Mets, find themselves 10 games under 500, 18 and a half games behind the Braves. So literally the Mets find themselves in a position where basically they can only hope at best to try to get into a wild card. That's it. No shot to win the NL East at all. I mean, just the Braves have just pounded them into oblivion. So, Braves are rocking and rolling. They have guys that are amongst the lead leaders in every batting category. Ronald Acuna, I think, still is leading the league, batting at around 329, leading the National League. Matt Olson, their big thumper of a first baseman, was tied for the Major League lead with Shohei Ohtani at 25 home runs for the season. He also has over 60 RBIs. So again, look at these numbers. If you extrapolate them over the whole season, Olson would be in a position where he would be hitting 50 home runs and knocking in over 120 RBIs. And Ronald Acuna would also be hitting over 40 home runs and over 100 RBIs. And oh, by the way, Ronald Acuna leads the league in steals.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, offensively, the Braves are rolling as they make their quest to bring another World Series championship home here to the ATL. So we're going to be watching the Braves, all the way around to see what they can do. Now, the other thing, Lady, for those of you who are like me, a little bit of a NASCAR aficionado, next week, NASCAR returns to Atlanta. So NASCAR will be back here in Atlanta next week, and we'll be giving you some, hopefully, on-the-scene coverage from there on Saturday. But interestingly enough, something else going on in NASCAR. NASCAR, for the very first time, is having a race in Chi-Town. That's right. NASCAR is going to be erecting a temporary road race course in the city of Chicago. Not on the outskirts, but inside the city of Chicago. NASCAR is going to be running a race this weekend, and that's got to be incredible to actually see these cars, which normally go anywhere between 175 and 200 miles an hour, driving around Grant Park in downtown Chicago.
Wow. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's called the Grant Park 220. It is a NASCAR, eventually it's going to be a NASCAR Cup Series, that what they call the street race. Is very similar to what they set up in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, where literally they turned the LA Coliseum into a NASCAR oval track. And they actually had a race the week of the Super Bowl. So, yeah, NASCAR trying to branch out and continue to build their brand in areas and with populations that formerly weren't well known to the NASCAR circuit. So, again, it's called the Grant Park 220. It's going to be held at literally on a specifically built Chicago Treats course. And the big sponsors are McDonald's and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Total of 100 laps, 2 stages of 3 stages. You got 30 in the first 2 stages, and then the final stage will be 40 laps. So again, very, very exciting to hear what NASCAR is doing. And again, for those of you who are, in fact, not familiar with NASCAR and you're in the Atlanta area, next week NASCAR will be here. Pricing actually is very reasonable for tickets. We are going to attempt, no guarantees, on the Tuesday night show to get some giveaways for you. So tune in to us on Tuesday night, and you can find the Real Talk Sports Show broadcasting to you live on all social media platforms, with exception from Instagram. We're working on that, but we're on Twitter, and we're also on Facebook, and we're also on Twitch. So find us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. So, Lady, I know we got a lot going on here. Like I said, again, many of our on-air personalities will be scattered around Metro Atlanta, being involved in July 4th events. So, again, if you guys are out and about, especially on the South Metro, come tomorrow, come to Stockbridge, and who knows, you might see one of us from WIGO on the scene.
Absolutely. I know there is one at the district in Morrow going on, actually today.
That is correct. That's correct.
So, yeah, if you can get there, please do.
Big Jazz event, I believe, is cooking right there in Morrow. They got some great guests that are coming in. So if you're in the area, come on tomorrow and check us out. Well, speaking of tomorrow, we got to let you go so you can get ready for tomorrow and all the July 4th stuff that's going on. You've been listening to the Real Talk Sports Weekend Update. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. Again, you can follow us on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7 on all platforms. You also can follow me personally at Real Talk Sports. Excuse me, that's the show. Real Talk Sports. Let's try it one more time. You can follow the show anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You also can follow me personally on at Minister J Sim. That's Minister, the letter J followed by SIMM, and you can find me on all social media platforms. Remember, if you have a great sports story, you got a story to tell, you got somebody that you know is doing some great stuff, primarily off the field as well as on the field. Remember, hit us up on the email, 678-410-9833 is the cell phone number. You can text me, or the email is jsimmons@realtalksports.net. All right, guys, you know I like to do it. Like I said, I'm a real life minister, so I want to encourage you, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, please, ma'am, please circle the known today. Nobody loves you like Jesus, and he's the only way by which you can get to heaven. So please find out more about Jesus Christ. And if you want to do that, you also can tune in to me on Wednesdays, again on WIGO 1570 on the Clarion Call broadcast. We broadcast every Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. All right, guys, until the next time that we see you again, to all the listeners on the legendary WIGO 1570, keep it locked for more great music and more great talk. And for those of you on social media, don't go nowhere. All right, Lady E, God bless. Have a great day.
The legendary WIGO.
All right, guys, like I said, we're wrapping it up here. Appreciate all those of you who locked in on the broadcast. Like I said, we are on Tuesday nights. Remember, we're on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. on all social media platforms. There it is right there. You can find us at Real Talk Sports and number 7. Our YouTube page is Real Talk Sports TV. All right, guys, again, we appreciate you and definitely appreciate those of you who are watching on the replay or archive. Until next time when we see you again, we say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day. So long.